Hey guys, it's George, and I just wanted to show you some products that I was able to get whilst traveling in America. I have, it was a big step for me when I bought my first skein of yarn, because I was like, I didn't fully understand how they worked. So eventually I ended up getting a Swift and a winder. Now, I didn't have a Swift originally, but my first winder was the Knit Pro, and it does a really good job. It's economical and it works very well. Occasionally the yarn does get caught up, but as a piece of technology, it was really good. But I wanted to get something that was a little bit faster, a little bit more efficient. So what I have here, this is the wooden Knit Pro Swift, which I'll just show you now. And I was in America and I'm able to pick up the Nancy Knit Knacks yarn winder, and it is fantastic. So I just want to show you through both of these pieces. So if you're not familiar with the skein, and if you are, well, fast forward or watch, there's plenty of other stuff. But there was a few people on Bears Who Knit and Crochet that were asking about what a Swift was. So basically, the Swift it goes out like an umbrella, and it enables you to put the skein of yarn on there. Because remember, you'd see those old movies with the guy holding the yarn in his hands and an annoyed wife balling up the yarn. So this is the husband equivalent when it comes to knitting. So basically, you just open up your skein, and it's quite amazing, isn't it, when you consider how big a skein of yarn is. Now, this yarn is part of the Penelope and Stephen's Mystery Knit-Along by Westnet's Stephen West. So there we go. Basically, I've just gotten the yarn and I've popped it onto the umbrella of the Swift. So what I do is I find the little knot, right? And it has 4 strands that are coming from it. Now those 4 strands, what I do is I basically just cut off the knot. And the 4 strands are, one is the inside end, the one is the outside end, and the other is the pieces of yarn that hold the skein together. And basically you need to pull those out. And as you can see here, that's the piece of yarn that was holding it together. And before you start unwinding, you just quickly check and see, are there any other further pieces holding it all together? It looks clear. And then this is where you go across to the winder. So I take the end piece of the yarn and it gets fed through the feeder, and this is what helps tension the yarn. And I fold it over and slide it into the little slot at the top of the ball winder. So with that in mind, what I'm aiming for is a center pull ball of yarn. So it's really simple. From here forward, you just basically start to wind, and the yarn will come off the Swift and slowly start being made into a ball of, well, like more of a cake really, a cake of yarn. Now, the Nancy Knit Knacks winder is super, super efficient. It has lots of spins for each pull of the crank. So if you have issues with arthritis or difficulties with joints or anything like that, this is a fantastic choice. It's a more of an expensive ball winder, but if you go into stores, this is the one that they usually have in the store because it's made to last. This is a ball winder you will have for a very long time. If cranking gets a little bit too much, you can actually get a motor for this as well. The motor is expensive. It's around about $400 as per the website today. But as I said, if you're actually balling a lot of yarn, this may be a choice for you. So yeah, basically it is a very straightforward process. It's nice I think to do it manually, because occasionally you'll get a little catch of yarn and you'll know about it before the yarn snaps when you're doing it yourself. I find it kind of relaxing. It's not the most exciting thing to do, but it's really nice because you get to see a skein, open it out and see how it looks, particularly if you're doing pooling. And I love the idea of planned pooling. But it also, as you cake it up, the yarn looks different in the cake, and then when you knit it up, the yarn looks different again. So it's 3 transformations, all for the price of 1 skein of yarn. I'm just going to zip forward and I'll show you what the cake looks like when it comes out. So this is what the cake looks like when it's finished winding, and it's very straightforward. I just pull off the end, so we've got the center pull strand, and then gently sliding it off. And there we are, a beautiful cake of yarn that is ready to be knitted up. And this is one of the skeins of the yarn for the West Knits Mystery Knit Along. So I'm looking forward to getting started on that today. Anyway, I hope you found that was vaguely interesting, but I do recommend the yarn winder with Nancy's Knit Knacks. It's a really good product. It's solid. This is something I'm going to have for a long time. That plus this Swift has absolutely changed the way I purchase yarn now. So there you go. Have a great one. See you guys.